You guys keep your mask on. We would appreciate that. So, just not much. Opening up the questions, I will start by saying I'm looking forward to the season. As I told our guys, last year we almost pulled off, really a miracle run. It's rare that you have new coaches, new players, new front office, and you turn things around the way you do and have a chance to win. That was the first step. Now we want to make the next step. So just really looking forward to the season.
Just to go back to last week's media tour, you said that we should check what you said about Ben Simmons and being a point guard on a championship. Can he be a point guard on a championship? And you clearly did not say yes.
Yeah, because I wasn't answering the question. If you ever go back on that, and listen, we can go back and forth all you want or anybody else wants on intent, but I've never had a problem owning what I say.
Okay,
ever.
So
no, I'm going to finish.
Okay, sure.
I'm in charge here. I'm going to finish.
Okay.
All right?
Go ahead.
What I said, and I'll say it over and over again, when you watch it, there's sometimes called intent when you talk.
Okay.
And clearly, what I said was, guys, I'm not answering that. I don't know right now. I wasn't answering any question. I was talking about, we just finished a game 7. And that question was asked. I just wasn't talking about it. I wasn't answering that. It had nothing to do with me. Do you think all year, who do you think defended Ben more?
To a fault.
Yeah, well, in your opinion, not mine. I still think the world of him. I think the world of him as a player. Just because he doesn't do certain things that you want him to do doesn't mean he's a bad player. He made the All-Star team. He was, I don't know what vote, he almost won the Defensive Player of the Year award. So to me, sometimes I wish, instead of just going with what you want, listen to my intent. That's all I'm saying. And I thought, and I said it the next day. That's why, if you remember, the next day we did the press conference. Whoever was at that press conference, did I say it again? I reiterated. I said, guys, there's something out there that I didn't mean. So it's not like me being a revisionist history.
Okay, so now apparently Ben took offense to that, and that's one of the problems. Do you believe that's one of the problems?
No, I don't. I don't believe that's one of the problems at all.
Okay.
And we talked about it the next day.
Okay, I just want to follow up with Daryl. Hi, Daryl. How are you?
What's up?
Have you misevaluated the value in the trade market, and if so, how much, of Ben Simmons?
Well, let me give some background. They came to us and asked for a trade shortly after the season as representatives in Chicago. We were not looking to trade him. To Coach's point, multi-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year. We were on the doorstep, like many teams.
Well, about 4 teams.
Yeah, but I was looking at Milwaukee the year prior. They were the 1 seed, went into the next season, won the title. Look, every team goes through its own journey. Ben is a very good player, a big part of this team. We're disappointed he's not here. We're making our choices, but we're excited. We're very excited about the players who are here. We're going to focus on them. And we're taking our journey to be a championship team. We don't know exactly what that will be. In terms of like what trades or non-trades, I only have one focus, which is to do what gives us the best chance to win a championship. So I will do all the signings or non-signings, all the trades or non-trades. You can know that when they happen or don't happen, it's because we think it's, along with Coach Rivers, we think it's the best thing to give us the best chance to win the championship.
Thanks. So, Doc or Daryl, what specifically has made Ben unhappy that he wants out?
That's a good question. It's a tough answer because it wasn't as clear as we probably would want it. Wanting to change places to for whatever reason. So, it's tough to play here, but Ben didn't say that. But, you got to assume that's probably part of it. And I can't say he said that. That's just an assumption. So, that's it. And losing, guys, listen, I've been in a lot of losing rooms, and I've been in some winning rooms. Most of us, usually when you coach, you're on the bad end of it. You're rarely always on the good end. And it's amazing the impact it has. I've been around it. This has happened more than you know. It just has not happened to this extent, especially the day after a loss or the week after a loss. Unfortunately, this has not changed so far.
And Daryl, do you feel there's any hope of reconciliation, or is this it? He's played his last game.
I think there's a lot of hope. I would say I watched last night a player lead their team to victory where 1,000 pounds of digital ink were spilled on how much he would never play for that team again. So, look, every situation's different, but we have a lot of optimism that we can make it work here.
Hey guys, I'll break up the Ben questions real quick to ask you about another fun topic. Do you know what percentage of your players are currently vaccinated or in the process of being vaccinated? And
Well,
I guess what
I do know the percentage, but I'm not going to answer that.
So
we're
is
not
it a
supposed-
concern, I guess?
It's not a
what
concern for us. I can't say other teams, but we are very, very, very good. Let me put it that way. But it's probably a concern league-wide for sure. And I don't know what the percentages are. I think it's interesting. Football, it seems like we all know. Where in our game, you don't know from team to team.
And then for you specifically, Doc, I know a big thing for you coming into every year is setting expectations for each individual player and then the team as a whole. So how do you do that in an environment where, one of your most important players, you don't know where he's going to be or how involved he's going to be, or even if you have to make a trade, then that totally changes things as well.
Well, clearly not the easiest situation, but individually it's easy. I look at the young guys that we have. It's amazing. Like, I try not to include, like, Matisse, but he's young. Furkan, Shake are young. Tyrese is young. So individually it's easy to set their goals and their standards for where we need them to be for us to take the next step. We're going to focus on who's here. We're going to try to build our team out to who's here right now with hopes that we do have Ben at some point. But right now, that can't be our focus. Our focus, I can only touch the people who are in front of me. And so that's my goal right now, is to get their mindsets right about moving forward.
If I could add real quick, we're different than most one seeds, and credit to Coach on this, that we have most of our players who are on the upswing of their career improving. We have more draft picks to improve into the future. We have more ways to improve than most one seeds, most contenders. So we're very excited both with where we're at right now and how we're on the upswing relative to other teams that are in a similar situation.
And lastly, I would say I always have summer goals. And our guys, our young guys, I got to tell you, and I said this last year about them, it was the best working young group I've ever had in my 21 years. And I've never said that. And then they did it again this summer. That group is, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's one guy leading that group to do it, but they're just workers. So I'm really excited about it.
Good morning. We'll give this one to Doc first.
Who's talking? No,
I'm
I'm sorry.
We'll give this one to Doc first, then Daryl, if you want to comment. I'll be interested to get your take on this. Doc, over the summer, a couple of your players came out and they made comments about the fans.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to ask Joel or Danny specifically what they meant by that, but I guess it amounted to they wanted the fans to be better or maybe lay off a little bit or just show more empathy. What was your interpretation of that, and do you think there's an issue with the fans and fairness in how they're treating the players right now?
I didn't interpret it, to be honest. I know things were said. I can't tell you exactly what they was saying. I was probably on the third hole trying to make a putt in the middle of the summer, if you want me to be honest. We all have to improve, right? The players have to improve. But I don't know. Fans are fans. I think most cities are about the same overall. Some have more intensity. I think this is an intense fan base. Boston, I coach there. They have a pretty intense fan base from what I hear too. And I've always viewed that as a good thing, that some negative things are behind that too, right? But I would rather have that. I just like the people caring. And how you voice that as individual. It's funny. And the true story, Friday I was flying back to LA. Thursday I was flying back to LA, and the flight was delayed 5 hours. I think that was the day of that big storm, right? And I end up sitting with the father, a mother, and two kids. And the guy, they're Philly guys, and they're giving me the whole pitch on, how a fan should be, and I'm laughing. We're laughing together. And he said, "What do you think, Doc? Do you?" I said, "Well, I think about your son right there, and would you like it? Think about that when you're a fan. How would you treat your son on the floor? And he said, "I never thought of that." And then he said, "But we're tough." And we started laughing about it. So yeah, it's a tough fan base, but those fan bases, I have learned that if you can get it right, meaning us, if we can win it, Julius Erving still walks the streets here as a hero. So does Andrew Toney and that whole group, and that's because they accomplished something. So I know if you get it right, it all goes well. If you don't get it right, no one's happy anyway, including me.
Fans have high expectations. They're passionate. I love it. I would say just in my role is to try and get the best players here. So I would love for all these perceptions to turn around because I think they're out there that we're hard to play. But I don't think it's true at all. I think, once players are here, they understand the fans are trying to push everyone in the right direction.
I just want us to be harder to play for the visiting teams. I think that's the key, right? And when you reach that, as far as expectation, I will say I thought we increased expectations. I read Keith's article before the year started. I think you had a six, So, no, really, I didn't read it. I was just guessing. But no, listen.
Where are we at this year, Keith?
We're here to raise expectations. That's what we're here. That's why I'm here, and so I embrace it, and I'm ready for it.
Hey, Doc, how you doing? Joel being the MVP last year, had a lot of career highs on offense, but how would you assess the job he did on defense, and what do you need him to do maybe more this year, especially given the unknown with Ben?
Well, I can't, and that's the tough part. I think you asked the question. That's the tough part, right? I can't start putting other jobs because the other guy is not here. That gets you in trouble. So the way I'm doing it is coaching like I would coach him normal. He had a hell of a year, Joel. He really did. I don't know. The MVP voting, I really think if maybe he played more games. I think Joel's goal is to do that this year. So just that alone makes him a better player for us. Offensively, I thought he mixed it up the way we wanted him to. Post, mid-game, threes. We still want to develop a couple of things we've talked about offensively to help him. As a team, we have to do our spacing better around him. You never can stop working on that. Defensively, being a basket protector, that's key for us. You know, you think about it at the center spot, and I thought about it in the mid-year. You know, how many games he has to really focus on the guy he's guarding, you know, right now in this NBA. So his team defense and his voice is vital for us, and that's where we want him to take his biggest step.
Next two will go to Keith and then Tim.
What's up, y'all?
What's going on?
All right. Doc, I know you say you're going to coach this like you coach any other year, right?
Yeah,
But the thing is, Ben is not here,
yeah.
and it becomes a distraction to the team.
It could be. It could be, yeah.
I mean, it could be. I
Yeah.
mean, you're going to have some young guys who are saying, wow, am I going to be included in the trade? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, is that a concern? I mean,
Yeah, that's always a concern. Like, one thing as a coach I've never figured out, and no one, you know, I've talked to a million coaches about it, is trade rumors, especially in this day. I didn't, you know, I played in the era where, hell, we didn't know it until literally when the GM called you in the office, you think you're getting a raise and they trade you. You know, you didn't know any information. And now we know a lot of information. A lot of it is not true, though, Keith. I mean, this summer I saw trades that I was like, wow, that's a hell of a trade. You know, but there was no truth to it because I hadn't heard one thing about it. And so for players hearing their names, that's not easy for them. But our job is to try to reassure them the best that we can, you know. But that's part of the league now. That's the tough part. You're right.
And even for you, I mean, think about it. You were doing a national tour for your podcast, but no one really talked about the podcast. I mean, so,
Which is a shame because John Meacham is a hell of a writer.
Yeah, it's a shame. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of sort of like.
No, but that's normal. That's the way it is. Like, we knew that when I did they told me I had to do all the podcast stuff, interviews. I started laughing. I said, "Are you kidding me? They're going to ask one question, and then they're going to get to Ben." And that's just how it has to be. But we have to embrace that and deal with that. And we have to be willing to go through that. And, you know, Keith, I told our guys a little while ago, winning's hard as far as I know. I think people think you just win a title. Winning's hard. Like, it's hard. You look at Milwaukee last year, Kevin Durant's an inch away from Milwaukee not being in the playoffs anymore. You know, it's just hard, and we have to embrace that. And so, unfortunately for us, this is the journey we have to go on. The Lakers, let's use them as an example. They have to go on their own journey, you know, and every team will. This is ours right now. We have to own it. We have to live our way through it, and we have to do our best to get through it.
Daryl, when is the last time you talked to Ben and or his camp about what's going on?
Well, I met with Ben in a meeting, I don't know, like 6-7 weeks ago. There's more communication with his representation. Yeah.
When you say there's hope in trying to rectify this, is there any sense at all that he could come in at some point? Has that been discussed at all?
Well, I think, look, we just know the history of, you know, you can look back at how these things play out. You know, Ben's a great player, and, you know, we expect him back. We expect him to be a 76er. So.
And, Doc, in the interim, for as long as Ben isn't around, do you have a sense of what you're going to do at point guard?
Yeah, I do, you know.
Willing to share?
No, I think you'll figure that out. I don't even think I don't think that's that hard, really, on that one. So, you know, the biggest thing is not, you know, this is where, like, for me, the biggest thing is not who starts. Is now that takes away another guard, and the second unit is my biggest issue for me because that takes us down one point guard. So, yeah.
Is it fair to expect Tyrese to get an increased role?
Yeah, big role. With Ben. Or without, either way.
I guess my first question is just about, do you feel the need or have you felt the need to address the Ben Simmons situation individually with your team or as a whole? Have you met with them and just say, you know, this is how we're going to kind of handle this? And second question is, if Ben does not show up, what kind of ramifications, fines, or anything are you guys going to impose, willing to impose, thought about imposing?
Well, I'll answer the first part, and I'll let Daryl answer the second part. Yeah, we've had a talk about it for sure. The players talked about it. I kind of wanted to hear, honestly, it's been the summer, so we haven't been around each other a lot. More individual conversations all summer. So this is the first group setting we've had since our last meeting. Yeah, so I wanted to hear what they had to say about it, and we talked about, the season, and this should be something we're looking forward to, even though, as Keith said, this is going to be a topic of discussion. Probably every new city we go into, someone's going to want to bring up some version of Ben. So I think our guys are ready for it.
Yeah, I'd say we're not going to talk about specifics of fines or things like that, but I will say that, it's pretty very clearly spelled out in the CBA and his contract what happens.
Yeah. Doc, can you talk a little bit more about Tyrese? Because he had such a good run in the postseason for you.
Yeah.
And then it even carried over into the summer. And
yeah, I like him. I mean, I said it early. Daryl knows before. We played him early in the year, and I didn't like some of the things that he was doing. And I kept telling our staff, by end of the year, he's going to be a player. And I give him credit, like the things, driving, getting all the way to the basket, instead of relying on the floater, he changed. His next step for me is defensively, but I'm telling you, that kid works. And it's rare that you see a guy with the talent that he just has, raw talent, and the work that he puts in. It's rare that doesn't turn into success. High character, I don't know. He just has all the ingredients, in my opinion, to turn out to be a heck of a basketball player for us for a long time. I think he's going to be listen, I don't want to bestow all this on him, but I am, because I believe in him. He's going to be key with or without. He is. I'm telling you, he is. And we're going to try to put him in positions to do that. The point guard spot is hard in the league. It is. I thought Game 7 was a great example. We've talked a lot about that, him and I, and he wasn't prepared in some ways for the other guys. Demanding, give me, in those games, give me the ball. And I laugh. I had this with Rondo all the time. I mean, because Rondo had Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, who were hot every play in their minds. And I said, man, those are going to be a really important word for you. And same thing will happen for Tyrese as well.
Daryl, to Doc's point earlier about your point guard depth, do you feel like you have more work to do on this position? I mean, with or without Ben? Even with Ben, George Hill is no longer here. You look at this roster, there aren't a ton of options for him. What are you looking at in terms of between now and even the trade deadline, what you have to do?
We love the players we have, so yeah, I don't see any we need to do X or Y.
Hey guys, this one's for Daryl. I think after last season, you said something along the lines of when you lost to the Hawks, maybe you weren't quite as close to a championship contender ultimately as the regular season would have left you to believe. I guess after the offseason, do you feel like you're any closer, especially considering the uncertainty with the Ben situation?
Yeah, I mean we love the team. As I mentioned, we have young players are all on the upswing. Save a couple wily vets that we love as well. We're gonna have internal improvement. If opportunities present, obviously, my job is to look at those. But we're really excited about where we're at, and we're excited about taking that next step. And while we're on the upswing, most of the teams we're chasing and we're behind last year are on the other direction.
I think Drummond's a big pickup for us. Nang is, to me, the silent pickup that I personally believe will really be big for us in a lot of ways, especially if we try to play small ball because his ability to stretch the floor. But more importantly, I just think being together the second year makes us a better team. Tomorrow, Joel was asking what we're going to do tomorrow, and I said we're just going to pick up from where we left off. We didn't have to teach for 3 hours of practice with no conditioning, which we had to do last year. So I think that'll be an advantage as well.
And just coach had to work hard to put the number one defense on the floor last year. And, I know in my discussions with him and Dan Burke and the rest of the staff, to his point, now we have that foundation, and now they can work on the next thing and the next thing.
How much did you guys, to your right, Michael Lee over here, how much did you guys reflect on that loss to the Hawks? And do you think you'd be in this position with Ben if you had pulled off Game 5 or 7?
I don't. Do we think?
Do you think that if you had won that series and gone to the conference finals, do you think you'd still be in this thing?
That's a great question. I don't know. It probably would have depended on how we ended the next series. What if that had gone wrong? What if Milwaukee had beaten us bad? So I don't know the answer to that. That's a tough one. But we look at that whole series a lot. We watch it as a group, as a team. We watched the fourth quarter as a team. And so there's a lot of things that stand out to us that I think all of our guys have kind of taken ownership of.
Hey, Doc. Last year you talked a lot about kind of not having that backup four. And you just touched on George in the end. So how big is it from that standpoint, and also kind of getting Tobias, because Tobias will obviously play through everything. So how big is that to have a guy like George?
Yeah, it's huge. And Tobias, he had to last year. We didn't have a lot of choices. So, and I thought that hurt us, in the playoffs, because the other team knew that too. And they started going big, and they knew at some point you got to take Tobias out, and that put us in a bind a little bit. But that's going to happen. Every team has some kind of weakness. They really do. So that was ours. I thought we addressed that. I also think, I don't know why, I think Drummond's going to be big for us as well, in those games that Joel doesn't play. Having Drummond on your team is not a bad thing. We got to get him to get back to where he was, and that's going to be part of our job.
Fans see a very athletic guy and a great defender in Ben, but the fans clearly are frustrated because, maybe it means more defense on Joel when he's not taking a shot. At some point, is somebody just, are some NBA players and maybe Ben just soft, and they've got to just toughen up and say, I got to do my job? Because people see a guy making a lot of money not doing his job when they're going to work and just saying, I got to do what I got to do. My boss told me to shoot, I got to shoot.
I never heard of the word soft compared to the guy that was second in voting in Defensive Player of the Year, personally. Again, the offensive thing, we clearly want improvement. For me, free throws. I don't even focus on all the shooting that everybody else does. I've seen a lot of winning teams that work that way. That's your own narrative about the shooting stuff. Obviously, we can improve the free throw line. That would be a big step. And we wanted to put in work this summer. And through the year, if we get them, we plan on keep working on it. I do think that would change his game a little bit. If Ben makes 33s this year or 1-3, does it change our team? No. If we score 125 points and Ben has 16 with no threes, are we concerned of how we scored them? I think he creates as many threes as anybody in the league for our team. And I don't understand why we don't see that. That's so important for your basketball team. The part that, hopefully we get him back, but the part that I think you'll see if he's not is the defensive part and our pace offensively. Those are the two things that I think we miss when he's not on the floor. It's rare that you have a guy that you say guard him at the 1, guard him at the 2, or at the 3, or at the 4, and then sometimes at the 5. I don't know if there's another defender in the league that can do those things. You know, I listened to Ben Wallace going to Hall of Fame. I don't remember him being a great shooter. Dennis Rodman I played with. There's guys out there that are winners that don't necessarily shoot the ball. Rondo will be a Hall of Famer, I guess. I don't know. You guys vote. You know, there's just a lot of ways to win in basketball, and I understand that. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
What's up, Joe? How you doing?
How you doing?
All right. So, how are you feeling right now? How's your health and everything? How's the knee? Is it bothering you?
It's been fine. I mean, I just been, you know, working out all summer. You know, it's been fine, no problem. You know, getting back to, you know, where I was, and I feel pretty good.
In regards to Ben, do you guys want him back? And is that true that you guys were going to go on the plane to talk to him and he declined? You guys coming out there?
Of course, we want him back. You know, he's a big piece of, you know, what we've been building the past few years. You know, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that have happened a bit, you know, in between, and you know, I know a little bit about all of that, but you know, that's not really for me to deal. But the way I look at it is that, you know, we all got to be better. You know, after we lost, you know, I kind of try to figure out, you know, ways, you know, I can be better, so we can win something. But I think you just got to have some self-awareness. You know, I could have done much better than I did. You know, I turned the ball over a few times. You know, missed a few shots. You know, Tobias could have been better. You know, all my teammates could have been better. So you just gotta look at yourself and, you know, find ways how to get better. Oh yeah, I mean, you know, that's what it takes to win, and I still believe that, you know, we got a chance to win with him. You know, I know he's going through a lot, and you know, I guess you just gotta let him, you know, be himself.
Hi, Joel. Amy Fiddle, NBC Sports Philadelphia. 2 questions real quick. One, with how this has kind of played out, do you have any regrets about anything that you've said that could have been misconstrued? And 2, how frustrating or disappointing, or whatever word you want to use, has it been to kind of have to go through these back channels through social media? And this is all, you know, the first question you guys are talking about is about a teammate that's not here.
I mean, what did I actually say? I don't think I said anything. I was asked a question, you know, what was the turning point of the game? And, you know, I really believe that, you know, it was the turning point of the game. If there's anybody that should be mad, is me freaking calling Matisse out for missing a freaking free throw. But, you know, we all talk about it. We all joke about it. We know we got to be better. So, nah, I don't have any regrets because I didn't, you know, call out anybody. You know, I just stated the facts. You know, I'm honest. You know, I can't lie. And that's just me. So I don't have any regrets because I don't feel like, you know, I put anybody in a situation where, you know, they had to feel bad. But at the end of the day, just like I just said, we gotta have self-awareness, and we gotta figure out ways how to get better as players and as a team. I'm figuring it out. I'm not perfect. Even talking about it. You guys always pick up, those one sentence. Even talking about it. I talked about, a few plays down the road. Turn the ball over. I was a big part of it. I missed shots. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. It happens. All I can do is, try and, play hard, the hardest as hard as I can. But, we honestly, we just all got to grow up. I look at it in a way that, for example, if, I understand, being in trade rumors and all that stuff, but that's just part of the business. If, I don't know, Golden State came and offered Steph and Clay for me, you think the Sixers would say no to that? They got to say yes to that. I would say yes to that because, how do you say no to that? So, because that's what they do. They're always going to find ways to get better, so you can't get mad at that. It's just the way it is. So I look at it in a way that, you just got to move on and, you just got to be, you just got to be yourself and, do the best jobs you can because, we get paid to do all, and we get paid a lot of money. A lot of people don't make, this type of money, but I just feel like it is a business. It's unfortunate to be in that situation. Personally, I never really gone through it except probably 2 years ago when the whole city wanted me to get traded, even though, you got stuff going off the court and stuff, but, people don't really look at you as a human being, and, that's not fair. But at the end of the day, you just gotta take care of your business. You gotta do what you gotta do, based on, what you get paid for. But like I said at the beginning, it is unfortunate. I would not like to be in that situation, but then again, it is a business.
Kevin at Crossing Broad. I'm right here, Joel. Joe, when you come out a couple weeks ago and you talk about shushing the fans and the trade rumors and stuff like that, and you ask fans to be better, what exactly do you mean by that? Are you talking about booing? Are you talking about the human element of being a player? Are you talking about social media assholes? What's kind of like the gist of what you were trying to convey there?
The first thing I'll say about that is that the fans, they have the right to act the way they want to. Personally, I would not want to be in another city because, I like Philadelphia because, and I'm honest about this, they care. They come to games. They're going to know, who would you sign? Who's the 15 man? They're going to know everything about the team. Like, they're so invested in the team. So it's only fair for them to, be pissed off when we lose, be mad. It doesn't matter. I could be averaging, 50 points and we lose, and they're still going to be mad at me. That's just the way it is. They work hard for, the money they make, and, we get paid based on them coming to games and, buying jerseys and all that stuff, and I'm grateful for it. So I think they have the right to, kind of voice their frustrations. And when I just said, be better, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it as a whole, like as a plan as a whole, because, I think about, what can happen in the future. I'm thinking about, like whether it's, we have, another, max salary open and we chasing after, free agent that wants to come here. But, I'm looking at it in a way that I don't want the fans to kind of scare people off. And, everybody knows Philly is a tough city. They love sports. They're going to tell you how it is. And, I love it. I personally don't have any problems with it. But I also look at it in the way that, not everybody's built the same. The way I handle it is different than, a guy that might want to come here. They might not want to be, under that type of pressure because, they might not play well and they might think that that's just not the best place for them to be just because of the fans. So that's what I meant by that.
Yeah, Joel. Tom Moore from the Bucks County Courier-Times. You had a career highs almost across the board offensively last year, but I was wondering how would you assess your year defensively, and what do you think you kind of need or want to do better this year, regardless whether Ben's here or not?
You say defensively? Oh yeah, I mean I've always believed that and you can look at the numbers, advanced numbers and defensive metrics and all that stuff. When you look at it, it doesn't matter who's on the floor with me. I've always been able to be the anchor, of the defense, and that's why you see guys like Rudy Gobert. He's one of few defensive player of the year because as big, you actually kind of control everything because you can see everything. You behind all the guards and everybody guarding, so you calling out plays and stuff. So and as I mentioned in the past, I have aspirations to become the defensive player of the year. I think for me personally, I just got to be more active. And it's hard to do because offensively, I'm also asked to do a lot, and I don't mind. I love it. I love carrying the team on both ends, and I think that's what probably makes me special because I do it on both ends. But that's where it comes in. Also taking care of my body, being in the best shape of my life, and because if I'm that, I can do both and, not really be tired because I'm doing, more offensively or more defensively. So I think for me, it's all about just being in the best shape of my life and just being active.
Hey, Joel, Tim Bontes from ESPN. Good to see you again finally. If you had gotten the chance to sit with Ben and talk to him, what would you have said to him?
Honestly, I would probably say I'm disappointed because I look. Obviously, we haven't won anything, but just going by what has been said, through the media and you guys tweeting based on your sources and stuff. I would look at it in a way that look at what we've been able to do. Obviously we haven't done anything in the regular season, and I got to be better. Everybody's got to be better. But in the regular season, we've been so good and so dominant that we know it's working. So I think it's all about, taking the next step and, kind of like everybody just playing up to their potential, whether it's me, him, Tobias, Shake, Matisse, the new guys coming in, Drummond, everybody's got to be on point. To be able to win is hard. And, I haven't gotten close to it, but I can say you get to the second round and, man, you get to game 7. It's so draining mentally. Yep. It's hard. It's not easy. But that's something that, I'm willing to do. And I think my teammates are also willing to do. So I think it's all about, everybody playing, up to their potential.
Just to be clear, when you say you'd be disappointed or you are disappointed, what are you disappointed in?
I'm disappointed in the fact that we've seen the results. We know our days. We know our looks. We win. We all winners. It doesn't matter if someone is averaging 40 points. It doesn't matter if someone is coming off the bench is averaging 2 points. I think at the end of the day, everybody wins. When you win a championship, guys everybody's gonna get paid, whether it's me, whether it's Matisse, Shake, like guys coming off the bench, the new guys and stuff. So I think winning cures everything. So we've been able to do that in the regular season. So I think it's been time, and it's time to take the next step. And I hope that he really changes his mind, because if I didn't like playing with him, I'm honest, I would say it. But I do love playing with him because he adds so much to our team. We've been building this thing around us.
Right.
Like, it's not. I don't see it as like, this is my team. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. Has nothing to do with me. I'm not trying to live in a spotlight. I got my family. I'm private. Like, that's not me. Like, I'm just trying to play basketball and have fun.
I'm not trying to harp on this. I just don't want it to get taken out of context.
Yeah.
Are you saying you're
well,
disappointed?
Yeah. Well, when y'all
Are
put it out there, y'all better put the
Well, are
whole
you saying-
quote,
are you
because I'm sure you guys are probably put already. Oh, he's disappointed, and just
Well,
keep it
that's
as
why
that way.
That's why I'm trying to. Are you
Yeah.
disappointed that like the situation is that
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it is now, like that he's not here?
Yeah,
That's what you're disappointed about?
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that we're in these situations. I don't think it's fair. Yeah, there's stuff that could have happened in the way. Whether it's I'm sure coach has mentioned kind of put the context of what he was trying to say and what he was trying to communicate. I know as probably you guys said, maybe my comments have something to do with it, which I don't think it is, because when you listen to the whole court, he has nothing to do, with, calling anybody out. So I think, I'm just disappointed that, he's not here, because he knows it too. He knows we can win together. I think we just all as a whole, I think, a few of us have complained about the fans. As a whole, we just need to just not care and just play better. Just play our game.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Sure, people are going to go out there and tell, how many people have told me that, oh, don't shoot threes. Every single time I'm shooting threes. This year, I'm thinking about freaking shooting more threes. I don't care, because that's what's going to help the team. Last year, I thought, what didn't help us a lot is that we didn't shoot a lot of threes. People might have, different views on that, but I think it goes a long way. So that's something I'm going to do. If, you want to, because you're not comfortable doing so, then don't do it. And in this situation, he does so many other great things for the team that is not really needed at times. At times he might be, but he's not really needed because, defensively he's a monster, and then offensively he creates so many open threes. Yep.
Hey, Joel. Paul Hudrick, Liberty Ballers. Last year, you talked a lot about taking care of your body, and you hired a dietitian and everything. And are you feeling more the effects of that as you're going into this year? Are you starting to kind of? I know you said it was a process before and it's going to take some time, but are you starting to feel better because of that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Even when you look at last year, I stay healthy. And there's been freak accidents, and it happens. We are worried where to land, and that caused my knee to swell up. But thankfully that was nothing. So I think it does work, and you saw the year I had last year. Now I need to take it to the next level and be better so we can win something.
Dan Gelston, the Associated Press. Doc said before last year he was trying to get you and Ben to do things more together, like off the court. Did that ever really materialize? And how would you describe your personal relationship with Ben?
It did. I think last year we were closer than ever before. That's for sure. As far as like I don't go out and I just stay with my family and all that stuff. I'd rather stay home or on the road or play video games and all that stuff. We had as a team we had a few team dinners which is something that we need to do more of. But I believe that, you know, our relationship was much closer than ever before.
Back here, Joel. Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philly. You've talked in the past about how you love when Ben's aggressive, how you love when he shoots when open. If he does end up returning to your team, what specifically do you want to see from him on the court this season?
I mean, I'm sure we all seen videos. So, man, that will help because he has that potential. You know, he has that potential to be that good. I mean, and we know what he brings in, you know, defensively. Even without that, offensively, you know, he just creates, you know, a lot of shots for mainly our three-point shooters. And then offensively, I think, you know, something he's got to focus on, especially because, you know, I post up a lot, you know, and he's in the dunker. I think, you know, something to focus that he can focus on is also, I think he can be a monster on the offensive rebound because there's so much attention on me that, you know, most of the times, you know, well, all the time they're really sending double and triple teams on me. And I feel like he always has a mismatch, whether it's, you know, me playing high-low and passing the ball or, you know, if I end up shooting it, I think there's an opportunity to grab, you know, way more offensive rebounds than he has been in the past. So I think, you know, there's a few ways we can get better, but it's not all on him. You know, like I keep saying, I gotta be better. I mean, you go back to, you know, Game 7. You know, I turned the ball over a few times. You know, I missed a couple easy shots. What was it? Game 4, I missed the game-winning open layup, the game-winning layup. Game 6, I had a really bad game in Game 6. Game 4, I shot 0 for 12 in the second half. So I gotta be better. So that can't happen, especially if these guys are gonna count on me the way they do. Thank you.
Good, how are you?
What's going on? Yes, sir.
What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. So what have you been doing since the summer league? And have you been in Philly? And what have you been working on?
Been at home in Indy, where I born and raised at. Been there. Been to Arizona with the old coach of mine from college. He coaches at Northern Arizona. I've been out there. Getting to Philly a couple weeks ago. Just been staying in the gym, harping in on my shooting, ball handling of the open gyms that we've been having, and just trying to be as ready as much as for tomorrow as I can be.
Matt Murphy, Sixers.com. Aaron, what are some of your individual goals for your rookie season?
Just to, challenge myself every day, develop, and just be able to look at myself and say I got better, on and off the court. Of course, my job is to win games and compete at a high level. but just to demonstrate the person I am, the player I am, and everything I can do at a high level. That'll be my biggest focus.
We'll check on Zoom first too. All right, Zoom crowd, let's go to Jackson Frank.
My bad. I had my I raised my hand still from a previous speaker. My bad. Sorry about that.
Anyone else from Zoom? And we'll go to Sean Bernard.
Yeah, hey Aaron, can you talk a little bit more about your summer league experience and what you kind of can bring from that to come over to camp?
Yeah, absolutely. Just the coaching staff and the correlation, from the regular season to the summer league, being a rookie, I felt the short days that we had, I learned, just some small things, defensive assignments, how they like to play, style of play. Some of my teammates that were with me and are still are. So, it was just a total learning experience and some type of NBA level experience of playing. So, it was a good time.
Aaron, just following up, as a two-way player, what can you learn from someone like Paul Reed, who was on a two-way last year? I know you've talked about learning from him in Summer League. What are some things you've talked with Paul about, someone who won MVP in the G League as a rookie?
Yeah, just somebody like that, that took some of the steps that I hope to take, not only in the G League, but just seeing how he played in the Summer League and not knowing that route at the beginning, but just being his teammate in that area and understanding just how hard he played. I mean, what he did to get to that point. Of course you hear about it, and I wasn't there, but just hopefully I can learn from him as much as possible. Not only him, other guys as well that are older and have played in the G League. So, I'm eager to listen and learn.
Hey, Furkan, we got to ask you about the Ben Simmons situation. What's your take on what's going on with that right now?
So I will start from this part. Personally, I like Ben a lot. I love Ben. I love playing with him on the court. I don't know the situation right now, what's going on. It's a business. Everything can happen. But personally, I would like to play with him. He's still part of us. He's still Sixers. He's still a Sixer. So I hope everything is going to be well for him and for us too. I don't know what is the end, but I hope he's going to be happy. We're going to be happy at the end. I just want to wish him healthy and good life. Either it's here or somewhere else, but I will be on his back.
Furk, that video you released really lit up the internet. Your hype video. Can you just talk about how did that come together and who produced it and what was it like filming it?
Yeah, so my team in Turkey, I think they did a really good job. We recorded in Istanbul while I was working out back home, and I think my team in Turkey, they did a good job. My PR team, they did create a really good video, which I was not expecting also to get that reaction, the fans here. I'm happy about that video. I was watching that video a lot.
Was the rim really on fire, or was that special effects?
I didn't know that too. I didn't know that too.
Furk, you were a free agent this offseason. Can you kind of just describe the process of how you settled on coming back to Philly? I mean, you signed pretty quickly that first night. Was it something you thought was going to happen?
Yeah, free agency. I was expecting to get offers from the teams. You know, I knew that I was having interest, but now I'm back with the Philly. I had a little bit time to think about it. You know, to going into free agency, what can happen, like which teams can like come and talk to me, show some interest. But I think I made the healthiest decision to coming back to Philly and keep playing for the championship and help the city to get the championship.
All right, let's go to Sergeant Kumas on Zoom.
Ne haber Furkan? Beni duyuyor musun?
Duyuyorum. Neredesin?
Ben burada değilim ya. Ben evdeyim şu an.
Aa iyi tamam. İyi dinlenmeler.
Nasılsın?
İyiyim. Sen
Eyvallah,
nasılsın?
sağ ol. İyilik ya, ne yapalım? Furkan, öncelikle hoş geldin. Philadelphia yeniden geri geliyorsun. Free agency'den hani o zamanlar stresli bir geçti senin için hani takım bakarken?
Yo, çok da stresli değildi. Açıkçası çok da özgüvenliydim bu free agency'de. Neyin ne olacağı hakkında heyecanlı bir dönemdi benim için, yani stresten daha ziyade. Tabii ki karar vermek her zaman çok zor. Ben bir restorana gittiğimde yemek yerken bile, yemek sipariş verirken bile ne yiyeceğimi düşünen biriyim. Bunun üstüne çok fazla zaman harcayan biriyim ama benim için güzel bir free agency'ydi.
Ve bu sezon hani en büyük hedefin ne sence?
En büyük hedefim bu saatten sonra tek fokuslandığım şey takımın şampiyonluk kazanması. Ben de bu şampiyonluğun parçası olmak istiyorum tabii ki.
Eyvallah, sağ ol.
I'll get that for you in 1 second. All right, we are all set.
Hey, Shake. Amy Thybulle, NBC Sports Philadelphia. We'll just get it out of the way because I know you're going to be asked a couple times. How much have you guys talked with each other, with your coaching staff about, your point guard Ben Simmons not being here, and how frustrating is it for you guys to have to sit here and, first time back in and answer questions about him, if at all?
We've talked about him, just a little bit in the locker room amongst teammates, and the message has kind of been the same. Like, we want Ben back, and we still think of him as a part of this team. But at the same time, we know in order for us to get to where we got to get to go, that the people in the locker room who are most important. And so we're gonna just try to come together and be ready to play. Nah, I mean, I guess it's just part of it, right? It's really out of your control. So, like I said, just trying to control what you can control, just coming in here and, being professional and going about your business. Mm-hmm.
Shake, with that being said, control what you can control, but you're going to be asked that question over and over again. I mean, do you sense it can become a distraction?
Not really. I mean, I guess if you let it. I think, like I said, I keep saying it, but, the guys in the locker room, we kind of have our head on straight, and we kind of recognize that it's just going to be a whirlwind until, whatever happens. So for us, we're going to try to get off to the best start possible, come in here and work hard, and you know, hopefully it leads to W's. That's what we're focused on.
For you as a player, I mean, last year was your first year with Doc. I mean, you knew the role that he wanted you to have. How much more comfortable are you now having a year under your belt coming into this situation?
Yeah, it definitely has me more comfortable going into the offseason. I wanted to become a better overall player. And now that I know what exactly Doc wants from me, I think just the work that I put in is going to allow me to just be confident and cool in my role. Defense, for one. That's what I spent majority of my summer working on, defense and threes. I want to be the type of player, you know, who's in the game when it matters most. And to be able to do that on this team, you got to be able to get stops. So for me, it's just been defense and threes. Yeah, right. Man, I'm looking at the screen right now. I'm like, bro, I look kind of swole. Like, I guess so. But no, yeah, I put a lot of work in Dallas. My guy Jure and thankful for SMU letting me use their facility, so I was in there as much as possible.
Kevin from Crossing Broad. Keith stole my thunder a little bit with his third question in a row, but I'll try to reroute here. You're a couple years into your NBA career now. You know, you're not really a young guy, quote unquote, anymore. What's individual goals for you? What's a successful season for you this year?
A successful season for me is us playing in Eastern Conference Finals, then getting to the finals. That's really been my only focus. I haven't really thought much about individual stats or areas I want to see myself improve, other than defense and being in the game when it matters most. I tell you, last year that was something that really aided me whenever. Of course, you're on the sideline supporting your teammates, but you want to help them win. And for me, I think defense is going to be the key to that. So just put in a bunch of work.
Shake, I guess specifically with Ben's absence, has it been expressed to you that if he does sit out at the start of the season, that you're one of the guards, that your role might be bigger?
Did Ben express that?
Did Doc express that to you, or something else? Or have you thought about that even?
No, not necessarily, but you can kind of see it, right? I mean, me, Reese, two of the people who handled the ball the most, pretty much outside of Ben. We know we're gonna have to step up, and I think we're ready for it. Reese puts in a lot of work. I put in a lot of work, and I think it's gonna be fun. So whatever happens, if he comes back, and we're doing our thing like we were last year, or if the roles change this year, I feel like I'm gonna be ready.
Hey, Shake. Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Last year, Doc said to us a couple times, dealing with ball pressure was sometimes an issue for you. Is that something that you've done anything in particular to try to improve that?
No, I didn't think it was an issue, but working on your handle, tightening it up, recognizing that you're a bigger guard, so shorter and strong guards are going to try to get into you and pressure you. Recognize that, just being strong with the ball, getting to your spot, getting to where you want to get to, and just being confident with it. Appreciate it.
Good to see y'all.
Hey, Tobias. Kevin Korkmaz, Clutch Sports. I just wanted to ask, you're coming off arguably the best season of your career last year. What are some of the things you kind of put a focus into this offseason to kind of build on the performance that you had all last regular season?
Yeah, big emphasis on the offseason was just obviously continue to work on my body, health, being able to movements, all over the court. But a lot of three-point shooting off the bounce, a lot of moves bouncing off the perimeter, like outside the three-point line. That's where I wanted to make the biggest improvements. I think if you look like from the bubble, my biggest improvements that I wanted to increase on was efficiency in the low post area, inside the 3-point line. So this summer was that, and then adding the outside component of that is outside the 3-point line, and being able to shoot those threes off the bounce and contested three-point shots as well. So, those were the huge emphasis of the summer, like main focus for me. Yeah.
Hi, Tobias. Amy Fiddle, NBC Sports Philadelphia. You've been around the league a number of years. You've been traded. You've been the subject of trade rumors. With everything that's going on with Ben Simmons, one, have you reached out to him to try to kind of be that veteran voice and say, listen, I feel you, I know what's going on? And two, what can you tell your teammates about kind of having to go through the situation where you're talking about a teammate that's not here?
Yeah, I mean, I've reached out to Ben. I've spoken to him. We've talked. To be honest, I haven't been in that situation where he's in. So to answer your question, I've been in trade rumors and whatnot. I mean, but that's not necessarily this situation, right? But I've done, quote unquote, what you could say, my part of reaching out and communicating. And the situation is what it is at this point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we've had those conversations of us as a group of trying to figure out the best way possible to communicate with him and to see where things are. But then we're here as well, and reality is what it is. But we've tried, to be there, and we are there. I mean, the situation is what it is, but as a group and as a team, now we start training camp tomorrow, and I don't think he's coming through that door, so we have to push on right now. Yeah.
Kevin from Crossing Broad. Tobias, Joel said that he was quote unquote disappointed, not in Ben specifically, but in the fact that he felt like you guys had a good thing going here and you have more to accomplish on the floor. Do you share that sentiment that you feel like the situation in its entirety is disappointing, that you're starting off a new season but one of your main pieces isn't here?
Yeah. I mean, it's disappointing. I mean, when I signed back here, expectation is championship team, right? Last season was disappointing as well, that losing second round, but I think that he's a huge part to our team, right? Like our point guard. I think I was telling this to somebody the other day, if you look around the NBA and just any team, championship team or bottom of the pack team, your starting point guard goes out the lineup. The team is kind of in a weird spot. I think the PG position is one of the most important positions in the NBA, and so him not going to be here, it is disappointing. But like I've said to the guys on the team, to all of us, he's still part of our team. Ben's still part of our team. He's got 15 guys in that locker room. Probably 7 or 8 of them that played with him last year. That's still his brother, and he's still our brother as well. So we hope the situation could get resolved. If it doesn't, we move on and we get this thing going, because at the end of the day, the 29 other teams that had to play against us do not care. They come in to kick our butt, and we need to be ready. So that's reality of it, really.
Tobias, you said you talked to him and you haven't been in this situation before. So what do you say to, like you said, a guy you care about? What do you say to a guy like that, to Ben, to make him not feel good, but, to address this, to make him feel better?
Well, I think that I think a couple of things have been miscommunicated. I would say first, I think that if I knew the situation was going to be where it is right now, the day after we lost to Atlanta, I would have had the whole team pull up at Ben's house and let's just have a conversation, because when you got a group of men and individuals, and we all have egos, we all have people in our ear, but I don't think I don't think anybody went home that night not taking some type of ownership on themselves that we lost the game. And that's what I really related to him. I said, like, if you turn the TV on, you turn the computer on, you turn your cell phone on, you see all those things somebody's saying about you, right? And if you go down the line, like, those things were said to Ben. Some of those things were said to Joel. Those things were said to me, Matisse, everyone down the line. But the bulk of them came at him, but they came at everybody else, but just lesser and lesser. And I think, but everybody took some type of ownership on themselves that we were in that position. I mean, we just literally watched the fourth quarter and saw how many mistakes were made. It was not one guy who made mistakes. And, if I really knew it was going to get to this, I would have put that out there more to the whole team and got that done. But I think, it's unfortunate, but clicks sell, drama sells. So people want to, when the TV pops up, ESPN, whatever it is, who's on TV, like, this is what fuel to the fire. Like, this is what's there. Like, Ben, he's a very popular player, very popular player. So what's going to draw people to watch a TV screen is more and more chatter, but not understanding, like, a person has to live his life as well. So, this is like one of the things I related to him. So, it is what it is. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if he come back, but I know that I'm trying to win. I know he that's the best name for it right there. He helps us win basketball games. So, yeah, and he's on our team, right? Like, so, shoot, why not? But I don't know. Like, I think that's gonna be on him to make a decision with himself on.
Dan Gelson, Associated Press. Two questions. First, what is he most unhappy about? What does he tell you about why he doesn't want to play here anymore?
That's honestly conversation between me and him, right? Like, I'm not. You come on, you're in media, you already know. So, but I'm not telling you what the man told me. Like, that's you could call him.
Do you do you just listen, or do you try and talk him out?
No, I listen, but I speak what I got to say. So, yeah, I mean, I listen, but I also get feedback.
And personally, last year I know you had a really good season, but you were upset you didn't make the All-Star team. Do you look at that? Does that snub still kind of motivate you? Is that something you've set as a personal goal?
Not necessarily. I kind of understand from being like, having the 2 years where I believe I was at All-Star level. I understand, like, just the political swing of it or whatever. So at this point, like, it's the goal is to win championship. Like, if we're at a championship level, I do believe it happens. If it does, that'd be amazing. But if not, go win a championship. Like, that's my mentality.
Yeah, Tobias. Tom Moore from the Bucks County Courier-Times. after having such a good regular season and the series against the Wizards, you struggled a bit in the fourth quarter, the last 4 games or so against the Hawks. Were they trying to take you out more, do you think, or were you not being as aggressive? Like, what do you attribute that to?
Not really anything. I think it's just the flow of the game at that point. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of missed opportunities out there for me. But only things that I know I can get better at. And I think that once I get back out there this year, it's a new ball game. But I mean, you go all the way back to the Atlanta series, like it's kind of tough for me to remember what was going on. But yeah.
Does that motivate you at all?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I'm a winner, so anytime that the goal wasn't achieved, that's motivating for me to get back to that position and further. So that's where that motivation comes from. Yep.
Good. Hey, Dave Murphy with the Philadelphia Inquirer. The city's got a long history of kind of looking at itself in the mirror from a fan base perspective. I mean, going all the way back to Mike Schmidt being booed. A few people have played in front of as many home crowds as you have, and I was just curious, like, what's Philly like compared to kind of some of your other stops? Do you understand why it gets the reputation it does, and do you think that has much of a bearing on Ben and where his mind is at, and kind of having to come back here and play in front of a crowd that turned on him a little bit in Game 7?
Yeah, I think to your point on the Philly fans, if I had to break that down, I would just say that being here, it's a passionate fan base, and there's just a lot of fans. Like certain other teams, right? If like a city, whoever, any other NBA city, right? Like small market team, let's just say they have 100,000 fans. Philadelphia has 5 million fans, right? So there's more. So like if you lose there, you get hit up by 100,000, whereas in Philadelphia you're getting hit up by 5 million fans, right? So if you lose, obviously, simple math there. So I think there's just it's heightened, right? It's overinflated, like, because there's a lot of fans who care about basketball and that are very passionate for not just basketball but sports in general in Philadelphia. And that could be a bad thing if you lose, and that could be a great thing when you win. So I think that plays effect. I think if you ask me, the fans, do I think that affects Ben or has led up to where we're at now? Like 100%. But every person is different, right? Like some people enjoy fans being that aggressive or have that much energy, and some don't. And I think there's always a medium balance of how you balance out fans, how you balance out highs and lows through a season as well. So I think those are all, I had to learn about that as well in my own personal career. So I think it's just one of those like things where you kind of gotta look yourself in the mirror as well and see like how you figure out how to balance that. I can't hear you. Say again.
You had to learn that here. You said you had to learn.
I would say I had to learn probably like after we lost to Toronto, after we lost in the bubble, like I had to learn like, okay, like why does this get you that upset? Like why, like when fans are sending you DMs, death threats, like why does that get you upset, right? And like for me, it was like that gets me upset because I want to be like, one, I want to win, but I want to be better, right? So like it's a self-reflection, I feel like it's like when you talk to a therapist. Like for me, like that's really how to break it down. Like talk to yourself like you talk to a therapist on why does that bother you, right? And it's just a self-reflection. I'll be honest with you, I had to go through that, me personally. So I think everybody deals with it in a different way.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Tobias, Gina Mizell from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Yeah, just Doc said that, and you actually mentioned it too, that you guys watched the fourth quarter of Game 7 as a group. Just when you guys watch that collectively, what are the things that most personally just eat at you? Like, just I know you said it's a long time ago, but when you sort of go back and watch it, what are the things that you kind of just eat at you?
Easy shots that were right there. Then on top of that, like their shot making was key. I mean, they have guys making shots, but two hands in their face, really, right? Like it was contested shots that they made. Execution as well, late in the game. So those things kind of ate at us as a team. But for me personally, like those were key things that could have shifted a game from a loss to a 10-point win. So, it's just a learning curve. And these things take time to build a championship team, championship organization, culture. Those things take time and take those type of losses to turn into wins. All right.
What's going on?
Hey, Seth. Kevin from Crossing Broad. I guess we'll get it out of the way right off the bat. Your thoughts on the situation with Ben right now, and how do you view that?
It's the business of basketball. It's part of it, man. For me personally, I just mind my business, do what I need to do, focus on myself as far as in the offseason and coming here trying to build with the team we got. Ben knows how I feel about him, love playing with him and all that. But like I said, I just mind my business and do what I need to do.
Hey, Seth, Kevin McCormick, Clutch Points. You took your game to new heights late in the postseason, and part of that was your ability to play off of Joel. What do you think of the relationship you've grown with him on the court, and how focused are you on building off the performance you had against Atlanta to start the season?
It was good. Last year, as the season went along, we got better and better. I knew once I came here, playing off Joel would be a good fit for my game, being able to put the ball on the floor, play pick and roll, play the handoff game, playing off him in the post. And we just got to build on that as the season goes along. We got to add different layers to our game offensively, and I just got to continue to find ways to make the game easier for him, like he does for all of us. So it's exciting.
All right, next, let's go to Zoom. We'll go to Kai Carlin.
Hey, Seth, just real quick, wanted to ask you how you're feeling now that you had a full off season to kind of really recover from after COVID and everything.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel like I'm in great shape, physically, mentally, just feeling refreshed and ready to go.
Perfect. Thank you, Seth.
Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Last season, in the postseason, you had some success handling the ball. Given this situation with Ben, is that something you expect to do more, and is that something you've been working on, kind of being a lead ball handler?
I mean, I've done my whole life. I mean, people see me shoot, but if you really watch me play, I've got a lot of different layers to my game, nothing new. Pride myself on being very versatile player offensively, being able to play the one and the two at times. And like I said, I feel like I can adapt to any situation. So no matter what the team needs from me, I'm ready to do it. And I mean, every season, every month, every part of the different seasons call for different things for us as a team and as individuals. So Like I said, I want to be a well-rounded player that does a lot on the floor. Yep.
Good. How you doing?
Talk about this opportunity that you have with the Sixers.
I think it's a huge opportunity. Last year being my first year, during the COVID year, I didn't have many chances to really show what I can do. But this year coming up, it being a regular season, us getting the full G League season as well, I think it's just big for me to show that I belong on the NBA stage, and I'm excited for the opportunity and ready to get going.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, hey Grant, talk a little bit about making the leap to the NBA and what you learned from last year and how you think you can adjust to this moving forward.
I think I learned a lot, just as far as how the NBA game is played, the style in which it's played at. So overall, I'm just looking to build on that, looking any way I can to help the team win, and that's my biggest goal moving forward. Cool, thank you.
Hey, George. Kevin McCormick, Clutch Sports. A little bit ago, Doc Rivers said that he felt that you were the silent pickup for the team in the offseason. He feels you can be kind of a big player this season. How much confidence does that give you heading into the season that your head coach already feels about that before even training camp has opened up?
Yeah, I think that gives me a ton of confidence. The main reason why I'm here is I was able to have a conversation with Doc Rivers during free agency. And, he expressed, what he thought about me and how he thought I could help this team. And, those are some of my strengths, and I think Philly's a great fit for me. Just to be on the floor with someone like Joel Embiid or Tobias Harris, where those guys draw so much attention, which allows me to tee up open threes, and I think that helps space the floor for this team.
Hi, George. Amy Fiddle, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Just expectations for you. You've heard now Doc Rivers talk about you. What are your expectations as you now come into this team? It's obviously a lot of stuff extra going on. How hard is it for you to kind of mesh yourself into here and not worry about the distractions?
I'm a Northeast kid, right? So I think I really understand how the city of Philadelphia works, right? I could sit here and tell you what my expectations are, but Philadelphia fans don't really care about that and get out there and win games. And that's mainly what's on my mind is how can I help this team and implement myself in a positive way, to guard bigger guys or be a small ball five or be able to space the floor for other guys to have open lanes driving to the rim. I think those are the things that I'm focusing on, and how can I make this team better and create space for other guys on the offensive end, but also be able to guard multiple positions on the defensive end.
Hey, Georgia. Gina Mizell from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Nice to meet you. Just when you sort of look at the arc of your own personal career the last couple of years, going from a guy on a two-way contract to carving out the niche that you have, just what do you feel like have been the key steps along the way to sort of making all of that a reality for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is not looking too far ahead, right? I try to come in and stack consistent days and get 1% better every single day. I know it sounds cliche, but I feel like when people look too far ahead, that's when you start tripping over yourself and messing up. So the biggest thing for me is just coming in every day and what can I do to make the team better and what can I do to make myself better. So that's kind of the motto that I've lived by, since I was on a two-way contract, and it's gotten me this far. So I don't think I'm going to give up on that just yet.
Hey, George. Paul Hudrick, Liberty Ballers. Doc Rivers had mentioned perhaps using you kind of, I guess, as a five in some small ball lineups. Is that something, I know when we talked to you before, you said you'll do whatever role is suited for you, but is that something that you and Doc have talked about? And is that something you can picture yourself doing?
Yeah, that's something I could definitely picture myself doing. Obviously, me and Doc have had conversations of where I fit, out on the court, and he believes in the things that I can do, and I believe that he's going to put me in positions that are going to help the team be successful. Being a small ball five, as you see, I've been eliminated by the Houston Rockets, who literally played with P.J. Tucker out there as a small ball five. So I understand the dynamic of having floor spacers and sometimes playing without a center or having a second unit with the small ball five. So I'm open to all that, and I think I'm capable of that.
Next, we'll go to the Zoom crowd. We'll go to Tom West. Go ahead, Tom.
There you go. Hey, George. You've obviously played next to a great big man in Rudy Gobert before, but I was just curious how you could kind of see your game adjusting next to someone like Joel Embiid, who obviously, does far more in the post and as a scorer and as a passer. How do you think you could kind of adjust to playing next to a different kind of center, and what could that be like for you?
We're talking about Joel Embiid here. The guy draws a double team, every time that he steps on the floor. So I think that's definitely a bonus for me, him drawing another defender and allowing me to have space to shoot threes or drive to the rim. I don't think it's going to be much of an adjustment. He's creating open shots for other guys all the time just by being a presence out on the floor.
Thanks, George.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Charles. Paul Hudrick from Liberty Ballers. Just curious, I know the Sixers have been really excited about your offensive game and what you've kind of shown them. I know you talked about in your workout that they were really impressed by that. Just what do you think you can add when you look at like the other pieces on the team, kind of like how your offensive game fits in with the other pieces here?
Obviously, I can add a lot to the team. Obviously, I've been practicing with the guys, working out 5-on-5, just learning from the veterans and stuff, Joel, Drummond, and stuff like that. So, this past few weeks, they've taught me a lot. Just, playing the game, supposed to be, and just, I know I could bring a few stuff to the team. And, obviously, this is a championship organization. We try to win the championship, and that's the goal this year. So no matter what, so I just, just going in games and just giving my effort to the team and just playing 100% every time.
Hey, Matisse. One, how was your summer?
It was great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Two questions for you, completely opposite. One, how was your experience playing with the Olympic team? How did that help you with your game this past summer? How do you think it's going to help you on the court? And two, what do you think of, the fact that you're going to have to be sitting here talking about Ben Simmons when he's not here, and how are you going to deal with some of the distraction, if you want to call it that?
Those are two very loaded questions. I might need a reminder. The first one was the Olympics. I'm trying to remember what you asked. Yeah, it was a great opportunity to just play more basketball. And it's rare once you get to this level to be able to play in a situation where you can kind of get out of yourself. You can have an opportunity to expand your role and experiment with other things in a game setting. So the Olympics was a great opportunity for me to do that and also be one of the more focal points of the team. So handling that and then using that to learn more about myself, my game, and just push the boundary of whatever I was able to do this past season, and then it kind of just used as a place of growth. I mean, it's as much as a distraction as you guys want it to be. We don't choose to talk about it unless we're asked about it, kind of thing. I mean, that's all I really have.
To expand on that Olympics question, how do you sort of carry over that aggressiveness that we saw for you playing for Australia in an NBA setting?
That's a good question. Just finding my places, just knowing that now proving to myself that I can do it, and now just finding, because the FIBA game is very different compared to the NBA game, so I was able to find my spots in that, and now it's just a matter of just getting out here again and playing with much different players in a much different system, and just finding that again for myself, but also just the whole time knowing that I'm capable of it.
Dan Gelston, the Associated Press. Matisse, a lot of talk today about the complicated relationship between Philadelphia fans and athletes, but you're a player that seems to kind of embrace the fan response. I mean, you organize, not a lot of players organize, activities where fans can tag along. When you're in something like that, what do you hear from them? What do they say to you, and how do you feel the fans treat the players here in Philly?
That was a couple questions. Are you asking me about my photo walk, or are you asking me in general? In my photo walk, we talked about photography. We didn't talk about basketball. No, we were there to take photos. What was the other part of it? I mean, I've said this before. I would always rather play in a city where they care, and even if that care shows up as someone telling me I played a bad game because I played a bad game, I'll take that over playing in a city where you could do great and you could do horrible and nobody would care either way. You want to play for people who will support you and then also tell you when you're messing up, because everyone needs to be held accountable in all areas of life. But in terms of this very spotlighted area of on the basketball court, it's fun. I get a lot more out of, and I think most people do, of the support that comes from people caring.
Hey, Matisse. You were on JJ Redick's podcast, was it last week? And were pretty candid about, how you felt you should have gotten more attention for maybe what you did wrong in that Game 7 and your responsibility there. I know you guys don't have control over what fans do and what the media say, but I guess do you feel good about how you guys have all communicated to Ben that, he wasn't the sole reason that you lost? And I guess,
do I feel good about how we all communicated that to Ben?
Yeah, do you feel like that the dialogue was good on that front, or do you think that part of the reason why you're here is that maybe he felt isolated with how everything played out?
I mean, I can't speak on how he feels, and I can't speak on what everyone else has said or spoken to him about. Personally, I don't feel like that. Me and him, that wasn't even a conversation that needed to be had.
All right. So you never, what you said in that interview, essentially, you never said that to him. That was just it didn't need to be said in your mind.
Well, I feel like it never needs to be said. Like, when you lose a game, you never need to go and assert blame on people. I don't think that's a productive way of being a teammate or an organization. So I don't think that was a conversation that wasn't a conversation that was had by me and him, and I don't think it was a necessary one.
Hey, Matisse. Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philadelphia. You told us heading to last season, three-point shooting was something you worked on a lot in the offseason. Was that still the case this year? And just in general, what do you think the keys are to you becoming a more consistent three-point shooter?
Yeah, it's definitely an area of growth for me, and like a focal point in my game that I'm looking to improve. The Olympics were a good opportunity for me to get out in a different setting and kind of grow my confidence, I guess, because that's such a big part of shooting, right, is believing in yourself to take the shot and make the shot. And all players have ups and downs with it, but for me, it's just trying to have more ups than downs, and then using that belief and turning it into confidence and then turning it into results.
All right, we're going to go to Zoom for a couple questions. On Zoom, we'll go to Austin Crow.
Hey, Matisse, you were amongst the players specifically named in Shams Charania's report about going out to LA. I'm just curious, was it more like the team was trying to like go around, rally around their teammate and friend, or was it more along the lines of just trying to, was he sort of trying to say, don't come, I'm not interested, or was it more along the lines of like, as a friend, I don't want you to be out here?
I don't understand what your question is.
So like when you guys were going to go to LA to see him, what was the context of
To
that?
see
Was it
Ben?
more, yeah,
What was the context of what, sorry?
but of the purpose of going out there.
What was the purpose of us going out to see Ben? Is that what you're asking me?
Well, so was it more along the, like, what was his reason for not wanting to see you?
What was his reason for not wanting us to come out?
Yes.
I don't know.
All right, thanks, Matisse.
Good? Thank you, guys.
Hey, Jaden, Jazz Gang, Liberty Barbers. Wanted to ask you, what's the biggest difference you found now between the pro game and the college game, spending a few months now here and getting some work in with the team?
Well, for me, I'd probably say the grind is different. Like, you come in, you see everybody in the gym all day, all times throughout the day, so everybody really just working. So I feel like that's took another level so far.
Hey, Jaden. Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Just in Summer League, other than throwing the first pitch out of the Phillies game, what have you been up to, both basketball-wise and also off the court?
Really just came out here to Philly, getting myself situated and been in the gym. That's really it. Yep.
Hey, Jaden. Matt Murphy, Sixers.com. Speaking of Summer League, guys like Tyrese Maxey, Paul Reed, Isaiah Joe, what are some things that you learned from rookies from last year?
just watching the way they play out there, they're under control. They just know what they want to do when they're out there on the court. So watching them play it was great for me.
And you've talked about this a bunch, but with your dad having been a Sixers draft pick in the past, what does it mean to you to get ready for your first season in the NBA with the Philadelphia 76ers?
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely a cool moment. For him to start out here and me be able to do the same thing, I feel like that's pretty big for us.
And we'll go to 2 Zoom questions. We'll start with Tyler Bronski.
Hey, Jaden. I just want to get your impressions of this organization. How do you think things are run here, and just your experience so far being a Sixer?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I just want to get your impressions so far of the organization and how things are run here.
Oh yeah, I've been here for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I can already tell everybody's together. Like, I feel like everybody here is pretty cool. They like to get that work in, so that's what I really like the most. Everybody's in the gym, everybody's working. So.
All right, one more. Go to Sean Bernard.
Yeah, hey Jaden. Obviously, it's still very early, but I saw there's a picture of you working out with a couple of guys. Is there anybody that you've kind of leaned on for advice making the NBA transition, or any guys that you find particular chemistry with already?
Well, I feel like I've been pretty cool with everybody I've been around. I haven't really been around the team for that long yet, so I can't really say there's nobody in particular. But I feel like everybody's pretty cool. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's get started. Questions for Andre.
Andre, excuse me, Kevin from Crossing Broad. When we talked to you on the Zoom, you were pretty adamant there's nothing between you and Joel. You guys are 100% cool, no beef, nothing like that. Is that topic just kind of overrated in general? Is it just two guys playing hard on the court, or the media, fans look into that a little bit too much?
Yeah, I think it's just basketball at the end of the day. We're two competitors that love the game of basketball. We're like Titans. We just clash. We play hard against each other. I have no animosity towards him, nor does he. We're teammates now. I'm looking forward to playing with him, growing, and helping him be the best he can be.
Dan Gelston, Associated Press. I mean, have you guys talked about have you and Joel talked about what you guys have said and done in the past before, or is it?
Nah, I think it's unspoken. There's nothing that needs to be said. It's basketball. Like I just said, there's no real beef. I mean, we're in the NBA at the end of the day. I mean, what kind of real beef can you really have?
And obviously, one reason I would assume you sign here is to win a championship. But it seems like they're not as close if they don't have their point guard. How do you feel not having Ben here changes what this team can accomplish, changes the dynamic of this team?
Yeah, at the end of the day, Ben is still a part of this team. I'm not really sure of the situation. I just got here, so my opinion probably doesn't really matter. I'm just here to help out the best way I can and do whatever I can to help this locker room.
Hey, Andre, Gina, myself from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, Doc has mentioned you a couple of times just as what he thinks you can bring to this team. And so just what have your conversations been like with him since you signed, and just early on, what are going to kind of be the priorities for you as far as fitting in immediately?
Yeah, my priorities here are just to be open-minded and accept what comes, be ready to play, bring hard work, bring toughness to this team. Just going to try to gel these guys and make sure everybody's together, be a great locker room guy, and just play to the best of my ability each and every night when I'm on that floor.
Hi, Andre. Amy Thybulle, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
When people saw this signing, maybe from the outside, not Doc Rivers or Sixers front office, they thought, oh, what does he have left? What do you say to people that might think that you don't have as much to offer because of, X, Y, and Z that you did last year or the year before?
Well, anybody who knows basketball would know I'm 28 years old. So I'm not really sure what more I can't give. I have a lot of basketball left in my career. This is my 10th year, and I'm 28, so I think Doc was very smart for taking the chance on getting me. There's a lot I have to offer. I have nothing to prove. My career says what I've done. Doc obviously believes in me as well too. I'm here to help out in whatever way possible, whether it's to come off the bench, whether it's to be a great locker room guy, whether it's to boost the morale of everybody's energy. I don't care what it may be. It doesn't have to be basketball. It could be off the court stuff too with why I'm here. You're welcome.
Hey, Andre. Paul Hudger from Liberty Ballers. Just kind of piggybacking off that, I'm sure you had other opportunities, other teams calling and maybe offering perhaps a bigger role than backing up a guy like a Joel Embiid, who is, an MVP caliber player. So I know you mentioned Doc being a big part of it, but what other reasons kind of were behind your signing in Philadelphia and maybe taking on a lesser role than maybe from others?
Yeah, this team has a great chance to be great. They're already great. I think we're at a point now where we've added some key pieces to this team to help us get over that hump. I think once training camp starts and we get a chance to really mesh and gel with each other, I think it's going to be a great year for us. For me, coming here and taking a lesser role was something that I wanted to do. I think it was something that I'll help this team out with, something that they're missing, which is that toughness off the bench.
Hey, Andre. Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philadelphia. The last time you were a full-time backup guy, you were a 19-year-old rookie. Wondering what you remember about that year, that experience, and if there's anything you can recall that's helpful in terms of preparing to play a backup role.
Yeah, I've done it before. My rookie year, I played the first half of the year coming off the bench for Greg Monroe. It doesn't matter if you start the game or come off the bench. It's what you add to the team, whether it's for 5, 10, or 2 minutes. It's those minutes that you're on the floor. Are you helping out? Are you doing something to help this team win? And that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Sorry, some energy here. It's a boring media day. Yeah. What you got, Dury? What you got? You got to bring the energy, man. When you're old, you got to bring your own energy.
Hey, Danny, right here.
What's up? What's up?
First of all, I hope you didn't spend your whole contract on that wedding that you had this summer. So congratulations.
Thank you. I actually needed that whole contract to make it happen.
I guess we're asking everybody this, but you spoke on Ben over the summer, particularly about the fan aspect of it. I guess, have you been able to talk with him at all? And I guess, how are you approaching this day to day, knowing that you guys are missing a big piece right now to start camp?
We reached out, all of us have, talked to him bits and pieces here and there. I haven't spoken to him recently, but just like I said, we're taking it a day at a time, day by day, and figuring out what we need to do, just as if we had someone out or injured or hurt or just missing for personal reasons. He's still a part of this team, but whoever shows up that day for a shoot around or shows up that day for the game is who we're going to play with.
Hey, Danny, Kevin from Crossing Broad. Can you just elaborate on your comments about the fans that you made on John's podcast? What specifically it seems to be the issue? Do you think they're not being fair or crossing a line, or what can
no,
they
I mean, we love our fans. They hold us accountable. They want us to be great, and we're going to do the same. I just felt there was times, I'm not talking about the playoffs, but there was times in regular season, it was shocking to me because I had never seen it before, us get booed. But, it was me learning Philly. But our fans have been great all year. There's no issues with them. They want us to be better. We're going to want them to be there for us and be better for us because we're going to need them. We're going to need them to win. But there is no issue with the fans at all. I don't know what comments you're referring to. Some things always get blown out of proportion. But just on the regular season, there was a couple things that shocked me. But in terms of players, my thing is we're always going to back our teammates. We're always going to back our brothers. You never know what someone's going through, and I feel like I'm not saying they haven't given these guys a fair chance. I've been there long enough to say that. But regardless of the fact, you don't turn your back on family, you don't turn your back on your brothers, and we're going to be there, for them, regardless of what happens in the day. It's a basketball game. There's bigger things in life than basketball. Obviously, we want to win. We're the ones putting the hours in, the blood, sweat, and tears. There's nobody more critical or more upset when we lose than us. Thanks, Joel. That's Joel. It's my center. He's still mad. We beat his ass last week in pickup. He got us back though. We beat him a couple games. Excuse my language. But yeah, we got him a couple games a couple weeks ago.
Hey Danny, Gina Mizell from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Nice to meet you back here.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Hello.
How you doing?
You've obviously played for great coaches throughout your career, and I imagine not just obviously on the floor stuff, but navigating the off the court, maybe some trickier situations. Just what have you observed from how Doc is kind of just managing things, and how much does the coach help navigate that, and how much is it really just you guys as a locker room sort of navigating
It's
all
both.
this?
It's all of us together. We have to do it as a group. But Doc has done a great job. He's had a lot cut out for him. He got here starting over fresh with a new system, new organization, and new players, and trying to, I guess, reconform these guys of how things are supposed to go and how it's supposed to be ran. And it's upon us in the locker room as well, as our veterans. There's not many of us in the locker room to lead these younger guys and let them understand what's at stake, what we can accomplish, what it takes to accomplish those things. And also just communicating and make sure we're all on the same page. So it's not just the coaching staff, it's not just the players, it's all the above. It's all of us together, both of us, and we have to communicate with each other as best we possibly can. That's the only way to get it done.
Hey, Danny, over here to the right. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Matt Murphy with Sixers.com. As one of the veterans, earlier today, Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey talked about the young guys on the team. And Doc has repeatedly said that it's the hardest working group of young players that he's been around in his career. What have you seen from the young players on this team?
They've been amazing, man, even since last year. But Summer League, I've seen a lot of growth. They have a lot of potential, obviously, but I've seen a lot of growth. Party foul. Dropped the mic. I've seen a lot of growth in them, and they do work hard. These guys are nonstop in the gym. Some of those guys you gotta have to kick out and tell them you kind of don't overwork yourself. P. Reed will be here for hours before and after. Zay, Tyrese, they always put in good work and good hours. And the younger guys that just came in, we've seen a lot of good things summer league wise and since the summer. And I was playing pickup the last couple weeks, so I'm impressed. Hopefully they can translate it over to the real thing and into the game, and I think there'll be a big plus for us to help our bench be very deep.
Danny, like you said, I mean, who knows how the Ben situation resolves itself? But I mean, right now it's he's not here, and you got, I guess, Tyrese is really your only pure point guard. I mean, Shake and Seth are kind of combo guys, but I mean, is it unrealistic to think that a second-year kid like that could man the primary ball?
Not at all. Unrealistic? No, nothing's unrealistic, especially when it comes to a kid like him.
Why do you say that? And what
He's
makes
special, and I'm sure everybody can see that. If he continues to do what he does, he can be a really special player in this league. He carries himself like a star, and I believe one day he will be a star. A lot of these young guys, I think, one day will be stars. But Tyrese, for sure, you can see, he's a special player, and he's very mature for his age, smart, understands the game, and he has a good group around him that can help him. And Doc. So he can't do it alone. Obviously we have to help him, but Doc has coached some pretty good point guards and teach them how to run the ship.
Thanks.
Hey, Dan. Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Sorry to harp on the age, but you did have a few vets leave this offseason, which I believe leaves you as the oldest guy left on this team. Just from a leadership perspective, does that change anything for you with how you approach things?
No different. I mean, from a leadership perspective, I was, one of the bigger voices in the locker room last year, and I have to do the same thing this year. I'm just going to need a little more help from the other guys that are a little younger. They may not be as old as me or as old as Dwight and George, but Tobias is a professional, Joel is a professional. They're older. We're going to need them. And then obviously we got George, who just came in, the other George. And if our young guys are 1 year older, 1 year more mature, Shake, Furkan, Matisse, they're all 1 year more mature. So we're going to need those guys to be, not just young guys anymore. They're going to be, kind of young vets and help us get this thing done. Appreciate y'all.
Isaiah, what areas of your game did you focus on most this offseason?
Yeah, so when it comes to basketball, I'm going to keep the main thing, and I'm going to always focus on my shot. You know, I strive to be the best shooter on the court at all times. And also in this offseason, I worked on my ball handling, my playmaking, continually working on my body and my build and my defense. Tried to showcase a lot during the summer league, and so we're going to continue this journey, continue to get better.
You're one of the guys closely associated with the big energy chain that Joel Embiid wore on the bench during a game. Can you give us more about that? Tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, so the big energy chain is something that they started in the weight room, and it's all about bringing energy every time you come into the gym. All about bringing energy when it comes to life, and just help you get over the hump and get to the next step. And so I always took pride in trying to bring the most energy when it came to lifting weights. And so I took that chain on multiple occasions, and hey, we're gonna do it again this year.
Hey, Isaiah. Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Your summer league ended with a knee injury. Just wondering how you're doing health-wise right now.
I'm doing great. Back to 100%. It was nothing but a sprain. So after the summer league was over, did rehab on it, and got back real quickly.
Testing, 1, 2, testing. All right, bet.
Hey, Paul, over here to the right.
Oh.
You're someone who's very goal-oriented. You write down your goals. With that being the case, what are some of your goals for your second NBA season?
So my goal for my second NBA season, primarily, I'm trying to focus on helping my team win the championship. Also, I want to make the rookie versus sophomore game, like All-Star weekend. And I want to shoot 45% from 3.
Looking back at last season, MVP and Rookie of the Year in the G League, describe for us your experience playing there and how your game continued to grow last year.
My experience playing in G League was amazing. I was able to grow a lot and gain a lot of confidence. That was the biggest part of the G League experience that I appreciated. What was the second part of the question?
I got a couple more for you. So can you hear me all right? There we go.
Yeah.
Earlier today, Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey talked a lot about the young guys. Doc has said that this group of young players is the hardest working that he's ever been around. What does that mean to you and your younger teammates?
That mean a lot to me. That mean a lot. For me, I'll be looking at my teammates, Tyrese Maxey, Isaiah Joe, from last year, and they made me want to work harder just because of how on point they was, and I felt like I had to, make sure I was on point too. I couldn't be lacking, so I made sure that, I worked just as hard, if not harder, than them guys.
Last one from me. How does it feel that the fan base has gravitated towards you and taken a liking to you so much?
It's surreal. Like, I won't be expecting people to like me that much, but every time I go out or even on social media, they be showing a lot of love and enthusiasm, and I really appreciate that. I'm not used to it, so I'm still kind of shy. I don't know how to deal with it, but it's cool.
Why y'all look so serious? Can't even see y'all face. Y'all ain't even. No, I'm just playing. I'm ready.
I was gonna say you can't see our face. That's
Ah,
why.
it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
No,
It was a
I'm
joke.
kidding. Tyrese, Gina Mizell from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Just since Summer League, what are the biggest things that you feel like you've continued to work on with your game? What have kind of been your biggest priorities now heading into the season?
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the, when we left here, my objective this year was to get 1% better every single day, and that just didn't have to do with basketball. Like on the court, that had to do with preparing my mind for games, preparing my mind for different situations. One big thing that I've really tried to grow in this summer was film and being preparation for offensively and what defenses are going to run against us, and defensively what we're going to do to stop other guys. So I think that's one thing that I've really been preparing my mind.
Hey, Tyrese, right here. You're one of the few people in the organization who has consistently been around Ben this summer because, you guys both work out with Chris Johnson out in L.A. So I guess how has that dynamic been for you as like one of the only people with the team that has his ear, I guess, a decent amount of the time? And, what have you said to him throughout the offseason?
A little bit of everything. Me and Ben have been friends since probably, I don't know, the summer right before the bubble. Is when I was working out, getting ready for the draft. And, me being a part of Clutch, we kind of connected from there. And then we just been really good friends. So, every time I talk to him, we both like dogs. We have the same type of dog. We talk about, our Cane Corso dogs. And we laugh with each other. And he calls and checks on me. And I check on him. And, I love him like a brother. So, I always, we love each other. And it's a great relationship.
And there was a report at one point this summer, I believe, that someone said that, you might want, or your representation might want you out of Philadelphia along with Ben. So I guess if you had any comment on that or want to dispel that.
Nah, that wasn't true. That was, I don't know where that came from, but it was funny. Me and Rich were sitting there laughing at it, and, it's just, I love being here, and I love the city, and it's great. I can't wait to get started.
Dan Gelson, Associated Press. On a lighter side, you were in the movie Hustle this summer?
Yes, sir.
How many days of filming was it, and what did you do? What did you play yourself? Or
I don't know. Am I allowed to talk about that? The movie ain't came out yet. I'm just joking. No, I think it was maybe 2 to 3 days. 2 or 3 days. It was a blast, though. It was a blast seeing it makes you respect, movie stars and, filmmakers because of how much work they put in. And, like, you go over in one scene maybe, like, 6 or 7 times till you find the perfect one. And it just, kind of reminded me of basketball. Like, we rep so much. When people aren't around, we put so much hours, in the gym when no one's watching just to perform in front of millions. And I was just thinking about that. They're just repping it. And no one knows how many times you repping when you go to the movies. You just see the one end result. It just made me have so much more respect for it. But it was great. And I did play myself. Does he have game? I didn't get to play when they were here. I was in LA working out. But I heard he can pass the ball pretty well, and he loves the game. So I'm pretty sure that he did a pretty good job.
Tyrese here. Hi. Amy Fiddle, NBC Sports Philadelphia. One thing that people are talking about your coaches, certainly other coaches as well, is your development and how hard you work and how much you improved from the start of last year to the end of the year and what you showed in the playoffs. What are your goals as far as taking it to the next level and being, a full-time contributor on this team, in your opinion?
I mean, my goal for the summer was, of course, to get 1% better every single day. And now that we're here, I just want to apply that to help the team win. At the end of the day, there's one goal in mind, and that's to win. This is a competition. I love basketball. It's my job. It's my passion. I love every bit of it. And being a competitor is to win. That's really all I want to do. So whatever I can do to help us win, and whatever the coaches need from me, that's what I'm going to try to execute.
Hey, Tyrese, Kevin McCormick, Clutch Points. When Danny was here, he said he could see you being a legitimate star in this league one day. What's it like not only hearing that from a veteran player on your team, but also someone like Danny who's played alongside the Big Three in San Antonio, LA, his previous stops? He's played along such all-star talent that he sees you potentially being that same type of caliber player.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that from Danny. He's only like 54 years old and played 32 years in the league. But, no. Danny's great. Danny's great. I mean, his leadership is amazing. He has 3 rings. No one can take that away from him. And his journey to the NBA is immaculate. I tell people all the time, the guys that we have on our team, journeys like Danny, who was out the league, maybe played in the G League. Seth played in the G League. And Tobias said that he didn't play much his rookie year. And just to have those different guys, the different dynamics, it's amazing. And they really help us young guys, try to work and become successful.
We're going to take another from Zoom as well. We're going to go to Tom West.
Hey, Tyrese. In the couple of Summer League games you played, you took a lot of threes and attempted a lot of shots off the dribble. I know you talked about getting 1% better every day in the film work you've done this offseason, but I was just curious if the pull-up 3 in particular is something you've worked on a lot, and if so, how is that going for you?
Oh yeah, I mean the pull-up 3 is something that I've worked on a lot just because of the variety of ball screens that point guards have to play out of, and the different drop coverages and different shows and different things like that with the balls in your hand, and I think shooting in general is something that everybody works on every single day. I mean, of course, just trying to get more consistent, having more confidence and different things like that.
Thanks, Tyrese.
Tyrese, your name has come up a bit coming into the season in terms of players who could be most important given the opportunity in front of you. Is that something you feel, or is it, just about doing what you can and what you do?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really see most of that stuff. I just kind of put my head down and work. I mean, especially this summer, that it was it's an amazing feeling to be able to, get up early, get in the gym, go lift, get back in the gym, maybe play a couple of pickup, as safe as possible. But that's really what I've been working on, just working on myself, doing whatever I can to be the best version of myself for this team. And at the end of the day, and that's my job and that's my profession, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Hey, Tyrese, Paul Hudrick, Liberty Ballers. I'm just curious, last year was such a weird process going from the draft to training camp and what you experienced. How much better are you feeling this year with this, mostly normal kind of coming into training camp and being able to hit the ground running?
I'm so sorry, Mr. Paul. I'm just in awe that, this is my first time seeing you in person. I've seen you on the video so many times. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, I've seen this man so many times on video. Like, this is my first time seeing him in person. This is amazing.
Likewise, it is. It's great. It's great to see you.
All right, now let's do that again. I'm sorry. All right.
It's all good. No, so speaking of, it was weird last year because, the pre-draft process, you didn't get that experience in training camp, and then unfortunately, you had the positive COVID test. So just how much better is it and more comfortable are you feeling this year knowing you can just get right into it, hit the ground running right away, and kind of be up to speed with the team and the concepts and all that?
Right. No, it feels great. I mean, last year was it was a dream coming true, getting drafted to the Philadelphia 76ers, being able to play in the NBA. But, of course, it was different. We were in a different time, and it was a different time for all of us, in this country. And, it was hard. It was hard, like you said, being late to training camp. I think I only played in training camp maybe 2 days before the first game. And, just to have to pick up all that stuff on the fly, it's difficult. And then throughout the entire year, it's hard to, get as many practices in because there's so many games. But yeah, this year I'm extremely happy to be here, ready to hit the ground running, with no problems, no injuries, blessed. Thankful for all that, and I just can't wait to get out there tomorrow. I've never been this excited to practice.
All right.